Hey, Spencer Smith, CrossFit Donelson. We're going over lesson 20, presence and attitude. Of the 4 attributes that Ackerman mentioned, my 2 stronger attributes are smiling and using everyone's names. I feel like I do a very, very good job of using everyone's names when they come in the door, throughout the class, multiple times throughout the class, and when they leave. The joke in the gym, my gym, is always the unwritten rule is that Spencer doesn't like Irish goodbyes. I don't like people to leave without saying goodbye to me. So I make sure to use their name when they're coming in, when they're going, and I try to use it in the warm up, throughout the workout, as well as the cool down, things like that, and make sure people's names are used as much as possible. And then I think I do a really good job of making my facial expression very positive. Obviously, there are times when I'm looking at things and I'm focused on something, but for the majority of time, I'm encouraging and I'm positive, and I feel like I have a very good positive face to represent that. I would say my weaker attributes would be my posture. That's probably the biggest one. I struggle to maintain a very upright posture when I'm coaching. Sometimes if I'm tired, I'll just be completely honest, sometimes I find myself slumping or slouching a little bit, and that's definitely not something I want to portray all the time. So I try to be aware of that. And then my eye contact. It's not that I'm afraid of it or that I don't want to look people in the eye, but sometimes I find when I'm just going through all the things in my head and I'm coaching and I'm thinking about movement or I'm thinking about progressions or whatever it is, I'm not as much making eye contact with people. And I definitely need to do a better job of that, because that to me is as important as names in terms of making people feel seen in the gym. So things that I have done and will continue to do in classes, for sure, when I'm, the workout's going and the music's loud, and I have a tendency to sometimes maybe not be as present as I should be, or especially if it's a longer workout and I find myself getting tired of having that high energy level, I want to make sure that I'm keeping a good posture, keeping engaged with the athletes, making sure that my presence is felt throughout the whole class. That's a big part of it, and making sure that I'm not showing them any amount of fatigue that I have or stress that I might have or anything like that. I want to make sure that they get the best of me throughout the class. And I feel like I've been trying to do that more this week for sure, being aware of it. And it's definitely difficult to do. And any tips are always appreciated. As far as eye contact, I am just going to make sure that when I use their name, I'm looking them in the eye. That's a start, because I know that I use their name quite a bit. So making sure that that's happening. And then also when I'm cueing, assuming I'm not like pointing to or looking at a specific body part, that I can make eye contact with them and give them that full attention, or especially when they ask me questions or when they're wanting my attention. So that's something like I can do better, and that I've been trying to do and will continue to do. In terms of the things that, as a coach, the things that we can do better to show that we care. For me, number one is work into our own development as a coach, right? That's a big piece for me and my whole team. It shows the athletes, the shows members, that we care about their safety and their development as athletes as well, if we're constantly developing our skills as coaches to do that so that we can better serve them. Beyond that, I think listening to what their stories are, what they're going through in their life, and empathizing with their struggles, and sharing in their successes and things like that. I think that's a big part of showing that we care, and that's something you can't really fake. I feel like that's one thing I never want my coaches to be, is to be disingenuous. I want them to be genuine with our athletes, and genuinely be happy with their successes, and to share in their struggles and to help them as much as possible, obviously. But sometimes it's just a matter of just empathizing with maybe their pain or their stress or whatever it might be. And I think that's a big part of showing that we care, is not obviously not letting their struggles bring us down per se, but being involved in their life and sharing in their ups and their downs. So thank you very much. Any tips you have for presence and attitude are always greatly appreciated. I know this is one of the 6 criteria of coaching that I probably need the most work on. That, and just helping people have fun in class. That's always a big thing for me. I'm a big technician, so I always want to try and steer towards having more fun in class if I can make that happen. So I know that's a big presence and attitude thing as well. So thanks so much, guys.